All right, we are in chapter 2, section 8. This is other properties. And really, what we're looking at today is something called the distributive property. And what's important about this is you're going to be using the distributive property when you get into ninth grade Algebra 1. The more practice you utilize, the better you'll be when the time comes for you to utilize that in class. So it says the distributive property uses two operations. Here, multiplication and addition are being used. So you have 2 times, because there's a parentheses there, 3 plus 4 equals 2 times 3 plus 2 times 4. So what they're telling you and what they don't show you is they actually drew arrows and they did 2 times 3, okay? And then they did 2 times 4 and they just kept the addition. So 2 times 3 and 2 times 4. So they took the outside number and they distributed it by multiplying by the first number inside the parentheses, then multiplying the 2 by the second number in the parentheses. Distribute, apologize for that. You distribute 2 over each number in the parentheses. Do this by multiplying each number by the 2. The distributive property also uses multiplication and subtraction. So again, 5 times 7 minus 2 equals 5 times 7 minus 5 times 2. So they're going to take the 5 times 7, right there it is, and then they're going to take 5 times 2, and then they kept the subtraction in the middle. That won't always be the same, that you'll keep the subtraction in the middle. If you're using integers, that could change. Multiply each number by in the parentheses by 5. And that's what I showed you with my little arrows. Example number 1, use the distributive property to complete. So you're going to do 3 times the first number, which is going to be 5, okay? And then you are going to multiply 3 times 2. And notice they have a question mark and a question mark. So there's 2 things missing here. You're going to multiply 5 and 2 by 3, which I showed you with the arrows. So what they really want you to do on the right side where the question marks is, they wanted you to show all of this. So it is going to be 3 times 5 minus 3 times 2. That's all we would look for. Example number 2, use the distributive property to complete here. If you have 2 times 5 plus 2 times 6, understand now that they're asking you to do the opposite. Okay, now they just want you to, what number would go on the outside and what numbers would go on the inside. Well, what did they multiply that's the same here? I see 2 and 2, so my 2 would need to go on the outside, and then my 5 and my 6 need to go inside. Now, if you switch 5 and 6 up, it's okay because it's addition, but I would do the 5 because it comes first, put it in the first spot, and then because 6 comes second, I would do 6 in the second spot. So 5 and 6 both multiplied by 2. So really what they're looking for in an answer is you to do that, okay? Because that's where the question marks were. Example number 3, there are 3 division properties. So now we've moved from the distributive property to talk about division properties really quick, okay? And if a number divided by itself is 1, so if you have 3 divided by 3 that looks like this, it also looks like this. 3 divided by 3, it's 1. So that is one of the division properties. And notice it does not have a specific name. They just call them division properties, okay? A number divided by 1 is the same number. That's the most important. So here is, well, a number divided by itself is 1. A number divided by 1 is the next rule. It's the same number. So if you do 3 divided by 1, which would look like this, or 3 divided by 1, which would look like that, you're going to get 3. So any number divided by itself is 1. Any number that's divided by 1 is that same number. And then the third rule down here is 0 divided by any number that is not 0 is 0. 0 divided by 3 is going to give you 0. If it looks like this or if it looks like this, it's still going to give you a 0. Now, while I'm here, if you ever see this, if they put 0 on the outside of a division problem, and we are doing this in our algebra class right now, if you had that, or if you had 3 divided by 0, trying to get the other division, you can, this is not 0, okay? This is something called undefined, and I'm just going to put a U here because I don't have enough space to write the word undefined. But if you put this in your calculator, 3 divided by 0, you would get an error, and that's because you can't do this problem. But you can do 0 divided by any number, and it's going to give you 0. So your assignments today on 49, you're skipping the top and you're not doing the bottom. You just simply have to rewrite the problem here that they give you, okay? And then you're going to highlight in red the missing numbers. So rewrite the problem, and when you submit, make sure you highlight the missing numbers in red. Everything else would be black. So let me kind of show you what this would look like. If we did number 1 in my submit answers document, my create document, I'm gonna do 5. I'm gonna do a parentheses. I'm gonna do 3 minus 2, and then parentheses again, minus 5. And notice that little dot is times what. And so I'm gonna put a box here for a second, just so you can see, minus 5 times another box. Now these boxes, so you're going to write it out just like this. Everything would be black, but what you need to put in red is your answers that go inside this box. You won't be able to put a box. You're just going to put red answers. So distribute 5 times 3. Oh yeah, that's what's missing. 5 times 3. So this you need to highlight and make it red, and then realize that you have to do 5 times 2. Okay, so the other box is 2 and it needs to be highlighted in red. So that's all you're doing is filling in the missing information in the gray boxes, but in your answer document, you're not going to do gray boxes. You're going to just do the missing number in red. And yes, you're writing out the entire problem. When it comes to division problems down here for 7, 8, and 9, I just need your answers only. I'm not even going to have you do division at this time, okay? So just notice number 7, I need the missing number, and you only have to give me one here. For number 8, one answer, and number 9, one answer, because it will be the same in those missing. Actually, I just lied because I saw number 9. You'll probably have to give me 3 answers. Okay, that's your work. If you have any questions, ask.